Raider Nation, good morning. It's Mitchell Rettens here, host of the Raiders Report, and I do want to talk about some Raiders salary cap news, important news, if you will, and also some free agency rumors on Stefon Diggs and Cooper Kupp. I also want to say I apologize. I released a video this morning, and I misread something from Tom Pelissero. I read a tweet from Pelissero that said that the Raiders designated Andre James and also Gardner Minshew as post-June 1st cuts. I misread that wrong, and I was just infuriated on the inside because I think we've seen this offseason how many stories, we'll just say, have been, not properly reported, right? And the boil, it literally made me so mad. I read it at 6 a.m. I stormed up here, and I wanted to make a video for y'all right away because I was just like, well, that's not what we were told. We were told that it was just an outright cut, and if it was a post-June 1st cut, I wanted to be able to make y'all a video. So I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I am sorry for putting out a video this morning. I already deleted it. It's all good. I do want to still talk about, though, where the Raiders stand right now from a salary cap standpoint after moving on from Gardner Minshew and after moving on from Andre James. I also want to talk about what I think the Geno Smith contract could look like because there's a part of me that wonders if it's going to happen today, right? The Raiders posted a pretty cryptic picture, and when I say cryptic's not the right word, but a picture that makes you sit there and go, I wonder what that picture is, right? I want to talk about that here a little bit today. And then at the very end of today's show, I do want to just talk about some of the free agency rumors around Cooper Kupp and around Stefon Diggs. So let's first talk about Andre James, Gardner Minshew. They are both cut. They are cut right now. If they would have done it post-June 1st, they would have saved $12.7. You could have used that money then to allocate to some players in the draft. But because they are doing it now, you're getting about just over just under $5 million that the Raiders have to spend, and they can spend that money right now. So with that being said, knowing that the Raiders can spend that money right now, that tells me that this is a team that, could make another move, and it could be a little bit of a minor move that they try to do in free agency. But my question to you is this, and do you agree with the Raiders designating both Andre James and Gardner Minshew as just outright cuts pre-June 1st? Let me know down below. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. The reason why I'm going to say no, I don't really kind of agree with this decision, is because if you would have designated them post-June 1st, you could have saved $12.7 that you could have used that money to pay off some of the players that, you're going to go ahead and draft. Where I get the idea of you wanting to spend money right now, but you spending money right now is less than what you would have been able to spend in June. And yes, this is a team that really hasn't operated that way this offseason. They've done things a little bit, I would say, smarter, well thought out. Now, that's me just saying that in this moment right now. If the Raiders go out and they move some money around and they're able to bring in maybe a player that they didn't think that they were going to be able to get, because we've been waiting, right? We've been waiting for a big splash. We've been waiting for whatever. If the Raiders are able to bring in a player that, let's just say, they might not have been able to get before from a money standpoint, and they use that money from Andre James and Gardner Minshew to go out and get someone that gets the nation really excited, and maybe they got to overpay him a little bit. That's okay when you got to go out and get what you really, really, truly want. If that's how they use that money, I'm okay with it. If the money is used, to sign maybe another starter or two, build some depth, I'm okay with it. I just want to see how that money ends up going down. So coming up here next on the show, I do want to talk about one of the pictures that was posted on Raiders social media. It was literally a pen to paper, and when I saw that photo, I initially thought pen to paper. I'm like, all right, man, is this Geno Smith thing about to happen? And the fact that the Raiders have a press conference today, which is going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Chugs and I, we are going to be live 30 minutes before that, so make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on. If you want to be able to watch the press conference with us, you can do it. You just show up to the Raiders Sport YouTube channel. You would watch it just the same way you would watch it on any Raiders YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the show with us instead of watching it over there, we would definitely appreciate it. Pull up. We're also going to be live basically all day today yet again. It's going to be a fun day. Tomorrow's 93 and a half man's birthday, so we're going to get after it today because I got a wedding tomorrow, and I know if I miss that, Alex is going to kick my butt. So got to be smart tomorrow. But today, don't get me wrong, we're going to have some fun today. So I saw the picture of the pen to paper thing, and I instantly thought that was going to be around Geno Smith, or we're going to hear, from some other players at the press conference later on today, which could be Adam Butler, it could be a Jeremy Chinn, it could be some of these new players that, the Raiders went out there and got. But to me, I think it should be Geno Smith, right? Like, To me, I think if you're the Raiders, you try to get pen to paper with Geno and you try to get him up there at a press conference. Like, why else would your social media team post that picture? Because I don't think you're posting that picture for pen to paper for any other dude not named Geno Smith. And that's even come from me, right? Like, I'm excited about Malcolm Koonce, but we already talked to him. I'm excited about Adam Butler. That's a re-sign. I like a lot of the other moves that the Raiders made, from Jeremy Chinn to Elandon Roberts, but to post that picture, that's a lot of hype for those two guys. And that's, even coming from me. So I'm hoping that the Geno Smith deal ends up getting done. And I've been getting asked a lot, like, what do I think it could potentially look like? I'm going to go with 3 years, $130 million, which is $43.3 million per year. He does have 31 right now on the books, which when I first saw the Geno Smith contract, and maybe I misread the fine print in Spotrac. Obviously, sometimes I misread things, right? This video and the video that I deleted is the perfect example of that. But Spotrac and Over the Cap still shows $31 million because it was 14.8 was the base, which is what I thought the Raiders were going to be getting if they traded for Geno. But there is still also a $16 million roster bonus tied into it, which I thought, if I read that right, it was going to go to Seattle and the Raiders weren't going to have to pay that. But maybe it is the case. My point is this. I think the Raiders give Geno Smith a 3-year extension on top of that 1 year. So his contract, to me, in my mind, could look something like 4 for $160 million. Before everyone freaks the F out, I do still think, though, that this is going to be a Raiders team that, gives Geno essentially definitely 2 years. That third year, they're going to weigh that option. And the fourth year, if it's not good, they're going to be able to just get out of it, right? The reason why I'm using these numbers here and the reason why I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere around 90 to 100 million fully guaranteed is because that was the money that they were willing to give Matthew Stafford for 2 years. So in my mind, if the Raiders were willing to give Matthew Stafford close to 90 to 100 million fully guaranteed, they're probably okay with that money for a starting quarterback, which means they're probably going to give something like that to Geno Smith. Again, this is just the way that I'm thinking about it in my mind. By doing that, you essentially tie Geno to your team for no doubt 2 years. You give him obviously that third year, but then also Pete Carroll's got that third, fourth year option, and they are putting Geno Smith and they are tying it together with Pete Carroll, which I do think is a smart situation for them to do. I'll also say this, right? Depending on what the Raiders do at quarterback is going to change up a lot of people's decision-making processes, and I think that also is one of the reasons why they've played it a little bit safe because, if you're a free agent and you don't know that that deal's officially official yet, which it is at this point, you could have waited off the sign, which is what I kind of talked about a little bit yesterday. But Geno Smith is a good quarterback, and I want the nation to start to rally behind him. And I mean this, like, I'm not trying to get into, beefs with people on social media anymore. I'm done with the Geno's better than this guy, Geno's better than that guy. Like, if you think those quarterbacks are better than Geno, I'm probably not going to change your opinion on it, right? Just like you're not going to change my opinion that the earth, if you're going to be earth is flat guy, I'm just not going to believe you, right? Just like I'm not going to believe that Aiden O'Connell is better than Geno Smith. I'm not going to believe Derek Carr is better than Geno Smith because when you watch tape, it's literally like the world is, it's a circle. Name the movie. And my point is, I think Raiders fans that watch Geno Smith tape, genuinely, like I'm not kidding when I say this, you're going to feel a lot better about it. So instead of being angry, instead of being you just hate the move, you should watch the tape. And if you're still angry after watching the tape, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to just tell you, like, I don't think that you know how to watch quarterback tape because Geno Smith has good quarterback tape. So even if you don't think that he's better than some of these guys that you fell in love with that were former Raiders or are current Raiders, watch Geno Smith tape. It's going to make you feel better. Like, he's a good quarterback. And I'll also say this to the OG Raider fans because, this is one of the things that I love about the nation. I love the passion. I love it, right? Like, I bring it every day. I woke up bright and early this morning because I was heated about, I thought that the Raiders beat reporters got something wrong. And it pissed me off because I care so much about, doing my job at the highest level. But I also care about the nation. And I know how frustrated, we've kind of been with the beat reporters getting a lot of stuff wrong. But at the exact same time, I want OG Raiders fans to, learn from history. And I'll just say this, like, if back in 1999 you were pissed off when Rich Gannon was coming to the Raiders, he was 34 years old, won the MVP by 37. Geno Smith is 34 years old, and I think the Raiders are going to try to tie Geno until he's about 37 years old. Give him a chance, because when you turn on the tape, he's a lot better of a quarterback than his numbers suggest. And the fact that he put up the numbers that he did in Seattle with brand new regime behind that offensive line, that dude deserves a round of applause because It was some of the worst offensive line play in the NFL last season. And when you saw the way that they tried to run plays, I'm telling you this right now, I don't know how Geno put up the numbers that he did. I don't know how Seattle won 10 games. And based off of the film that I saw and based off of all that and based off the fact that they won 10 games, I don't know how that you don't think the Raiders right now are already a potential 8 to 9 win team. That's before the draft. That's before free agency. We still have a lot of stuff to do. But the Raiders have bulked up their defensive line. They are going to try to, I think, bulk up the offensive line. And they also added a quarterback. So, like, if your team build in the trenches and get a better QB, I don't know how you could be upset about what the Raiders are doing. And I get it. They're spending money smart. They're saving money, right? Like, they're not going out there spending willy-nilly. But to all the guys out there, and, I'm sure that some of the ladies is right. It's the exact same thing. Anybody out there. Imagine when your significant other goes to Target and they're just spending willy-nilly. That's not what I want, and that's what the Raiders have done in the past. This offseason, the Raiders are spending money the way that I would want Alex to spend money in Target. Coming up next year, let's talk about Cooper Kupp. Let's talk about Stefon Diggs. Both of these players have been, kind of linked to the Raiders in some sort of fashion. And it's really kind of interesting because there's a lot of things that you could talk about with this. So if you had to pick one, would you go with Cooper Kupp or would you go with Stefon Diggs? If you had to pick one of those wide receivers that the Raiders would sign, please let me know down below. So the reason why I think that both of those options is kind of an interesting one is because to me, I don't even look at it as Stefon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, because I don't really think the Raiders are going to bring in either of those players. To me, I look at it as, all right, if you're interested in Stefon Diggs and Cooper Kupp, which is what has been reported, that means you're also, looking at a veteran receiver. You're on board with the idea of adding a veteran. And I know the Raiders, there was a report earlier this offseason that they've been looking for an X receiver. Well, if they've been looking for an X receiver, I don't really think that any of those guys that I just mentioned are true X's at this point because I think Jacoby Myers is better than Stefon Diggs at this point. I think Jacoby Myers is better than Cooper Kupp. If you tell me Stefon Diggs and Cooper Kupp are 100% healthy and they're going to play all 16, 17 games, then yeah, they might be a little bit better than Jacoby, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But my point is I wanted to be able to talk about these two players because it doesn't really shock me that the Raiders were interested in Kupp because the Raiders did meet with Matthew Stafford or Tom Brady met with Matthew Stafford, and there's no way that conversation happened without Stafford bringing up Kupp because I bet you Stafford was probably like, all right, if you're going to make this trade, I also want you to bring in one of my boys, and I want you to bring in Cooper Kupp. So the Raiders probably have had this thought in a while where, all right, if we try to go out and get a veteran quarterback, they might want one of their guys. And to me, I'm just going to continuously say Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, and then Brandon Cooks, I think are all three better options, also cheaper options than Stefon Diggs and Cooper Kupp. So to me, those are going to be three names that I'm going to continuously look out there for. But also, I do want to talk about Diggs because he has gotten a lot of rumors around him because Geno Smith yesterday posted a story on his Instagram, and it was him, kind of working out with a few other dudes, but Stefon Diggs was in that video. So everyone was like, oh man, are the Raiders going to go out and they're going to get Diggs? Which, I'll be real, I did not know this part about Diggs, and there's still a lot of unknowns around this situation, but Chugs told me that Diggs right now is dealing with basically like an assault allegation, domestic violence of some sort. You guys can look it up. I'm not going to take too much of a deep dive into it because there's just still a lot of unknowns around it. I'm just going to talk about it from a Raiders perspective of this organization has played it safe, and they have thought out very, very well of what they're going to do. If the Raiders are concerned that Stefon Diggs has an assault allegation against him dealing with domestic violence, just because of the Belindakoff rule and because of the way this team has operated all offseason, I don't really think that they're going to show interest in Stefon Diggs. Here's the other part, though. If the Raiders do go out and they get Diggs, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to go, to me, this has been a team all offseason that has dotted their I's, they've crossed their T's, they have made sure that every move that they have made is a decision that they are confident in. So if they go out and they get Diggs, I'm going to sit up here and go, they're confident in their decision, they're confident in that allegation. And maybe that's an unfair thing to say, but I think that as a Raiders fan, that's what you got to talk about. I'm not going to rip somebody's character when we don't know what happened. And it's a really unfortunate situation for both parties, but I'm always going to talk about it from the Raiders standpoint. And in my opinion, it would surprise me if they went out and they signed Stefon Diggs with the allegations that are against him right now. So because of that, watch out for Keenan Allen, watch out for Tyler Lockett, watch out for Brandon Cooks. Mike Williams ended up signing yesterday, so that's somebody that's off the radar. He was tied also to Chris Beatty. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to hop on out of here. Again, I want to apologize for the video that I put out again this morning. I saw something. It got me a little bit heated, and it's just because there was a lot of frustration built up with that, because I want to be able to do my job to the highest level of ability, and sometimes, when things are misreported, it's annoying. But I also got to be a grown man, and I got to say, I was wrong on that one. I thought it was a report that the Raiders were cutting both Andre James and Gardner Minshew as post-June 1st cut designations. I read it wrong, and maybe I got to stop. First thing I do when I wake up is check my phone to see if anything happened. But that's just the Raider fan of me. It's the truth. I didn't even wake up to an alarm this morning. I woke up, and I was like, oh, my God, did anything happen while I fell asleep? And I saw, the Pelissero thing, and it was 10 players have been cut post-June 1st designations. Clicked in the thing, and I saw Andre James and Gardner Minshew's. And I was like, what the, what happened? And then, it ended up, they were just outright cuts. There were other players in his screenshots that said post-June 1st. So, again, I want to apologize. I felt bad, honestly, for ripping anybody when I was the one that was wrong there. So, just know I am truly, truly sorry for anybody that tried to watch that video this morning. And I'm sorry to the beat reporters that, that I got frustrated with. That's on me. And if you guys want to come at me for it, I wouldn't even be mad about it. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys later on. Reminder again, interviews, press conferences, that's the word I'm looking for. Press conferences today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific. Chugs and I are going to go live 30 minutes before that. We'll see you here a little bit later on the Raiders Report. For more news and updates, hit that subscribe button if you're looking for more even content from us. Chuck, I said in the last video, he likes this video right here. He also said personally that he would recommend that you check out this video. He's been sitting here very, very patiently. We're getting ready to go out on a walk, which means breaking news is probably going to happen.